You lead a full and active life, but now you've developed a medical issue that hits you below the belt. Dr. Sarah Kane is here to increase your information about incontinence and the types of treatments that can limit that leaking. Dr. Kane is an OBGYN with Metro Health. Thanks for joining us, Doctor. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So is incontinence, is that inevitable for women as they age?
It's not inevitable, but it's definitely more common. As women go through menopause, some of the changes that take place in our body make incontinence one of the things that goes along with it.
Are there different types of female incontinence?
There are. Two of the most common types are what we call stress incontinence, which is that leaking when you cough or laugh real hard or if you sneeze. And then there's also urge incontinence, and that's that gotta go right now feeling where you might see commercials on TV for.
Are there different treatments for the two of those?
There are. For the urge incontinence, as I said, the commercials on TV advocate for medications, and that can treat that problem. But for stress incontinence, it's either doing exercises or surgery.
Do women typically get one or the other or both?
Oftentimes women can get both, especially as they get older. The overactive bladder or the urgency becomes more common.
We hear about things like mesh slings and lawsuits on television. Is that what we're talking about?
Not exactly. The mesh is something that's used for the stress incontinence cure. It's called a sling procedure. The commercials that the lawyers have on TV and the recalls that the FDA has issued are not for that sling. They're for support mesh.
All right, so a mesh is still a good treatment for certain things.
Yes, for stress incontinence, the sling mesh is our standard of care.
So how effective are the treatments right now?
Right now, the sling for stress incontinence has 80 to 90% success.
Wow, great. And what about the, what's the other one, stress incontinence?
And for urge incontinence, the medications work for most people. For those who maybe, don't get good results from medications, we do have more invasive procedures like pacemakers for the bladder or injecting Botox into the bladder that can help them.
So the treatments are effective, are pretty effective. I mean, why then is this still such an issue for women?
Well, I don't think we talk about it enough. We talk to our girlfriends about a lot of other problems in our lives, but very rarely do we talk about our leaking. So it's important to know that this problem exists. It's very common, and there are things we can do about it.
Apart from the various medical treatments that you've talked about, are there things we can do in our lifestyle to reduce the impact or eliminate this incontinence?
Yes. Often one of the first things I do with patients is ask them to complete a diary to evaluate what all they're taking in during the day. Because if you've recently retired, your 1 cup of coffee in the morning may soon become a pot of coffee as the day goes on, and that'll irritate your bladder and you'll go to the bathroom more often.
Is it the caffeine in the coffee and tea? Or?
The caffeine doesn't help, but the liquid in general is usually the case.
Well, thank you very much. This is all great information. I wish we had more time. This is really helpful. Thank you.
Thank you.
If incontinence is occurring, it's time to go and see your doctor. Simple, helpful treatments are available. To find out more, use the information that's coming up next. My thanks to Dr. Kane for joining us today.
To learn more, call Metro Health Center for Advanced Gynecology at 216-778-5890 or visit www.metrohealth.org/body. Next, pondering pension payouts.